guys, it is a beautiful day today. Yeah, so you're probably wondering how we're going to be talking about a Chevrolet truck and I'm on a motorcycle. Well, if it's your first time to the channel, my name is Tall and this is YouTube channel Traveling Tall. And the channel is mainly 95% of the time, I used to say 98, but now it seems like I posted a bunch of videos about the truck. 95% of the time, it's about motorcycles. If you're here for motorcycles, this video has something to do with motorcycles too, and it has a lot to do with the truck. I would say long story short, but no, it's not going to be a short story. It's going to be a long story with multiple stories in it. So hang on, enjoy the ride. Maybe you've never watched a motovlog video because you don't own a motorcycle, and this might be your first time actually seeing this. So as I ride this Harley-Davidson motorcycle, we're going to talk about my experience with my 2022 Chevrolet 1500 Duramax. You know, the 1500 with the 3.0. Had a pretty bad experience with that truck, and I want to share the story with you. So let's go back. I have to go back to the truck that I had. Well, I still have that truck, and I kind of tell you why I bought the Chevrolet truck before we get into all of that. Okay, so on the rare occasion I need to tow my motorcycle, for instance, and this was the actual story. When me and my sister, we went to Sturgis. Yeah, we took a brother and sister road trip. We went to Sturgis on the motorcycle. We took the motorcycle to Sturgis. Had an enclosed trailer. The enclosed trailer weighs about 2,000 pounds. My motorcycle weighs about 1,000 pounds. My sister has a Sportster. It probably weighs about 600 pounds. And again, the enclosed trailer was 2,000 pounds. Well, the truck that I had, that I bought about 2 years ago, was a Jeep Gladiator. Now, I wanted the Jeep. I'm going to try to be fast and get past the Jeep. I wanted the Jeep because I needed something to tow on the rare occasion that I tow, and I also wanted something to have fun with, being able to take off the top, go four-wheeling. Not really, just kind of like on fire roads. I'm not going anywhere to mess with my truck. You guys seen my truck. I like to try to keep it pretty clean, you know, and have a good time. So I bought that Gladiator for that reason. Well, the Gladiator's a 2020, has a 2-inch or a 3-inch lift on it, 35-inch tires, or 22-inch wheels, and as I was towing out, and it's a V6 gas, and they make a diesel, but anyway, as I was towing out to Sturgis with the enclosed trailer and the 2 Harleys, the Gladiator got 5 miles to the gallon. 5 miles to the gallon. So the Gladiator is a small truck. I'm 6'6", and I was basically shoehorned in that truck. I mean, there was just no room at all. But I didn't mind. Being 6'6", you're used to being uncomfortable. That's just a part of being 6'6". You're used to being uncomfortable. And me and my wife, we took the Gladiator from Knoxville, Tennessee to the Outer Banks, from the Outer Banks all the way out to California on a trip. 12 days trip. Saw everything. Grand Canyon, Vegas, we saw it all in 12 days. But anyway, so I like the Gladiator. Had a chance to do some off-roading when I was in Arizona, and a little bit in the Mojave Desert too. So I like the Gladiator, but no, it was not a good vehicle for my 6'6" frame. But that didn't do it in. What did it in was the 5 miles to the gallon that I got when I was pulling the trailer out to Sturgis. There was a point when I was going out to Sturgis, it said, and I'm not joking, 200 miles to Sturgis. I had to stop 3 times. 3 times. And the sign said a little bit like around 200 miles to Sturgis. And I had to stop 3 times. 3 times to make it. That's crazy. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to find something else. Now, we're going to talk. Okay, UPS, you see me. All right. Now we're going to talk about the new truck. So I've been searching for a long time trying to find a truck to replace the Gladiator because I couldn't do the 5 miles to the gallon because I have to tow the bike every now and then. Man, I took that gear. Don't pay attention to how I'm riding. I am not riding good. So I have to tow the bike every now and then to events. Well, I had to tow the bike. I knew that I had to go to Maryland to get something done to my motorcycle, and I wasn't going to ride it. It's the dead of winter time, so I was going to take the Gladiator and tow it up there. Wasn't looking forward to that. Maryland's only like 500 miles away. Well, that part of Maryland's only like 500 miles away, but I wasn't looking forward to getting that 5 miles to the gallon, because I had to go to Maryland and then come back for 2 days and then go down to Daytona Beach Bike Week. So I knew what the plans was. So I've been looking for a truck, you know, like every other day or whatever, trying to find something. And my search criteria was, I've been looking for about 6 months, to be honest with you, probably ever since I got back from Sturgis. And my search criteria was Chevrolet, because I knew I went to Chevrolet this time. Before I bought this Jeep, I've never had, as far as trucks go, all my trucks have been GM trucks. Okay, so I took a chance by buying this Mopar, and I'm not dogging it, still a good truck, just not good for towing. But anyway, so I knew I wanted the Chevrolet or a GMC, and I looked and I found, well, let's go back a little bit. I've been looking and looking and looking, and you know, in this pandemic right now, or whatever, there's so many people out here taking advantage of people that's buying cars. And everywhere and every time I look, I find the car, and then I call them, and the price is above MSRP. They call it market adjustment. I'm not paying market adjustment. I am not paying it. That's just something inside of me. I'm not paying market adjustment. And let me say this, one of the things that I used to like when I bought cars is negotiating a deal. Negotiate a great deal. Have them throw in a coffee mug, umbrella, a hat, and even a golf bag. And you know what? That's the true story. I did that. And I don't even play golf, but I had them throw in a golf bag and a deal. But those were the trophies. That was the trophy from my negotiating a great car deal. You know what I mean? So now, in 2022, when you buy a car, you're fighting against this market adjustment, and your negotiating tactics have drastically changed to the point that if I get a full tank of gas and they wash the car, I feel like I got a good deal. So that stinks. I'm looking, I'm searching, and I finally find this truck. My search criteria: black interior, black leather interior, navigation, sunroof, slider, 4-wheel drive. And I wanted diesel, but after looking and being disappointed, I knew that I couldn't. Somebody's mail was in the middle of the road. I knew that I couldn't find a diesel, so I just stopped looking. So my search criteria was going backwards. No diesel, didn't need the slider in the rear, still wanted nav and sunroof and leather, and I was debating on 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Well, searching, kept searching. One Saturday morning, I wake up and I'm looking online, and I put my search criteria in, and boom, there it is. There it is. And guess what? It's only 200 miles away. And not only is it only 200 miles away, there's no market adjustment advertised. But I'm not excited about that yet, because I got to call them, because sometimes they make that, they advertise one price, and then when you call them, they're like, oh, well, you know, there's a market adjustment on it. So I'm calling them, to be honest with you, with somewhat of an attitude, because I'm just waiting for them, because I've done this before, waiting for them to say, well, you know, we got a market adjustment on this particular vehicle. And then I'm going to tell them that doesn't make any sense. Advertise it the right way, I'll never buy from you again. They don't care. I call the people, the salesman answers the phone. He's like, yeah, sure, let me go lay hands on it. That's one of the things. Let me get your phone number. If I get disconnected, let me do this and let me do all of that type of stuff. So, man, this is a horrible place to go out. There we go. Now, so I call him. He said, let me lay hands on it, get my information and all that stuff. And then he calls me back like, yeah, we got it. There's no deposit on it. It's available. We just got it off the truck. Because I'm still going to ask you what you can do. It's like, well, we can't do it right now. There's a shortage of vehicles and this and that. I said, listen, if you take this amount for it, I'll come get that truck today. He said, I'll call you back. He calls me back, says, okay, we'll do it. We'll take the deal if you come get it today, because it was the end of the month. So now, again, I told you it was 200 miles away. I'm in Knoxville, and it's going to take about 2.5 hours to get there, because it's not all interstate. So I talked to my wife, said, here's the truck, it's everything that I wanted. So I said, well, at this point it's like 1 o'clock. I said, the dealership closes at 6, but they're Central Time, so let's just go on down there. We'll get there. He said he'll wait. We'll get there right at like 5:30 or whatever. He said he'll wait, and so we just do the deal and we'll roll out of there. So my wife's like, okay, let's go. We're in the Gladiator, and as we're driving down there, I'm debating on trading the Gladiator in or keeping the Gladiator and selling it later, right? Get there, I was like, you know what, it's late. I don't want them to try to rush and put a number on this car. Let's just go ahead and get it, and we'll deal with that later on. Get to the dealership, shake hands with the man, very friendly young man. He said, there's a vehicle right there, and I'm looking at it. It's underneath the porch. It is shined up, looking really good. I said, did you put the DEF in it? If you don't know what DEF is, that's called diesel exhaust fluid, DEF. And with the new EPA things or something, you have to run that diesel exhaust fluid for emissions. And it is a pain. And this where you're probably wondering, when's he going to get to that part? That's what I'm going to be getting to, just a minute. With the diesel exhaust fluid, he said that he had it filled up and everything. So I'm looking at it, I go inside and make sure the numbers is right. I come back out, look at the truck. He said, you want to drive it? I said, nah, it's a brand new truck. What can be wrong with it? He said, nah. You know, I said, nah, I think I'll drive it. I'll just drive it around the parking lot. So I drove it around the parking lot, parked it back underneath the overhang where he had it. When I got out, I popped the hood, because I always pop the hood. I want to look under and just see what I see, you know what I mean? So I looked under, checking everything out, and I noticed there was a flashlight under the hood. I said, somebody left a flashlight. He was like, oh, you want it? I was like, no, this is probably a text flashlight. He's probably looking for it. No, you just give it back to whoever did the inspection on the truck. So he's like, okay. So now he's trying to give me a walk around on this truck, telling me all the features of it. He pulls out this cable, so here's the cable that you plug into the back for the backup camera for when you're pulling your trailer. It wasn't a cable that you plug into the back. It was an engine block heater that you know, the cable that you plug into that when a diesel's real cold. He said some other features that said this truck had, it didn't even have. And one of them, I can't remember, my wife was like, oh, really? She looked at me, I was like shaking my head like, no, it doesn't have that. Go inside, sign the paperwork, come back out. At that time, it's about 6:15. The dealership closed at 6. Now, it's Central Time there. The dealership closed at 6. It's about 6:15. I get in the truck. I'm excited. My wife's following me in the Gladiator. We're on Bluetooth. I'm excited. I said, can you believe this? This is everything I asked for, and I'm just happy as can be. We're both happy and excited about it. Well, I got down the road. Next thing I know, a light comes on. And I look down, I'm like, what in the world is this? Well, it was a light that had like a little fumes and like a puff of smoke, right? It said, service DEF fluid. I'm like, what? Yeah, I know.
So there it is. It says service DEF. See owner's manual. Check engine soon light on. Diesel exhaust fluid light on. Truck now has 55 miles on it. I picked it up and it had 22 miles on it. So yeah, that's not good. And it's also showing this message right here, 72 miles until 65 miles per hour speed, max speed. Yeah.
So my rejoicing turned into worry, right immediately. But I was like, you know what, we're just a little bit from the dealership. I'm gonna call them. Now I saw them packing up like they was about to leave, so I said, I'm gonna call them. I called the dealership, no answer. Called it again, no answer, because I figured if I call back to back, they might think something's wrong. Well, I said, oh, wait a minute, I have the salesperson number. We've been talking all day, texting and calling all day. He's been sending me pictures and everything else. And so I said, okay. I called the salesperson's phone number. He didn't answer. I said, okay, he probably don't know who it is. So I called back, which he did. I called back again. He didn't answer. So I called back, let it ring, hung up, called right back. Like, okay, that's the sign for emergency. Somebody need to answer this. As I'm still driving toward the house, don't know why, I should have just turned around immediately. My bad. I know. I should have turned around immediately and took it right back to the dealership, right? But I'm still driving towards the house. Now, this thing pops up a message and says, speed limit will be down to 65 miles per hour within the next 75 miles. Oh man, so now I'm really nervous. I'm like, what in the world? So I'm nervous. So I'm talking to my wife, and I said, nobody's answered the phone. I said, that guy was answering the phone the whole time, and now he's not answering the phone. That's kind of shady of him, you know? So I said, you know what? It says diesel exhaust fluid, service it. I said, maybe, you know, remember I said in the thing that he said he put DEF in. I said, you know what? Maybe he didn't put DEF in it like he said he did. So I go and take it to the gas station, because the guy said he filled it up with DEF. I go to the gas station, go inside, buy that little carton of DEF. It's my first time experiencing that. It was $32 for that. Come back out and put the DEF in the DEF tank. Now, I've only been about 30 miles at this time. It took the whole box. The box is like 2.5 gallons. I said, okay. Well, he lied about that because he said he filled it up. So I'm like, okay, please, I'm gonna turn it on. That's gonna be the issue. No big deal. Just gonna keep going back towards Knoxville, right? It's dark now. It's dark because, you know, it was in the fall, so it got dark early. So I turned it back on. Nope, it still said it. Still gave me the countdown. So now I'm feeling really, really used and upset and disappointed, and my happiness turned into regret quickly. Like, wow, I just got done on this truck. So I'm driving home. I hit the own store button. Own store says, don't worry about it. If the truck breaks down, we will tow you. We have roadside assistance. We will get you to the nearest dealership. Don't worry about it at all. We'll take care of it. So as I'm driving, it gets down to the 65 miles per hour. No, I think it was 55. Yeah, it was 55. I'm sorry. When it gets down to 55 miles per hour, I am at that point. It had like 100 miles at 55 miles per hour, and at that point, I'm like at 85 miles from home. So I'm hoping that that's true, right? So I'm hoping and praying. One thing this truck did, kept me praying the whole time, right? So I'm on my way home, driving now, speed limit 70. I got it held on 55, going down the road. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. The guy finally, because I texted him, he finally texted me back and said, put some DEF in it. I've already put DEF in it at that time, and it didn't work. And then when I texted him back and said, I put DEF in it and it didn't work, oh, he didn't say nothing else. Ghosts, crickets, nothing at all, right? So the story's gonna even get better than this. It really is. So when I get home, I pull into the driveway, guys. 28 miles till 5 mile limit. Yes, I said 5 mile limit. So in 28 miles, it was gonna go to a 5 mile limp mode. That's crazy. Now I should have told you that this is Saturday. That dealership is closed on Sunday, and most dealerships around here is closed on Sunday, which I don't complain. I like that they're closed on Sunday. I had all day Sunday to think on this. And not to mention, I was buying the truck on Saturday because I was leaving to go to Elk Ridge, Maryland on Sunday, because I didn't want to take the $5 a gallon, 5 miles per gallon truck. Right? I bought this truck, you know, and I was excited about having the truck for the trip because I was going to tremendously save on gas, right? Well, it didn't happen. So not only did I not leave on Sunday, I had to stick around and wait till Monday morning to drop my brand new truck off. And then after I dropped my brand new truck off, I was going to go and get on my way to Elk Ridge, Maryland, and tow my motorcycle up there with that 5 mile a gallon, just draining my fuel tank and my bank account. So on Monday morning, I tried to call the dealership. Now the dealership's an hour behind, so I was waiting for 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, I tried to call. I was like, well, service might be there at 7. So I called. They didn't answer the phone. Then I called and waited. They answered the phone at 9 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock their time. I was like, listen, I just bought a brand new truck and it broke down on me as I was leaving the dealership, and your salesman, he didn't pick up the phone, he didn't answer, and I had to drive home in limp mode, scared to death that this thing was going to break down on the side of the road. And you know what the manager of this place told me? He said, well, when the salesmen are off, they're off. So I can't control if he answers his phone. He might have had something to do. Wow, right? Now listen, I understand that. That is totally, that's true, right? He might have had something to do. But that ain't what you want to hear. Why would you ever say that to somebody who just bought a truck? He didn't apologize. He didn't say he was sorry. I was supposed to be in Elk Ridge, Maryland this day. And then the next day, I was supposed to be coming back from Elk Ridge, Maryland, going to Daytona Beach, okay? I need my truck fixed. He's like, well, we'll try to do what we can do. We'll see what we can do. I'll call you back. He didn't call. What's going on here? He didn't call me back. I guess it's just normal traffic. Guys, I'm sorry. This is going to be a boring part, just sitting in the traffic. He didn't call me back. I called some local dealerships around here. I'm not just going to sit here and wait for no reason. When I called the first dealership, and I won't say the dealership's name because I'm not going to do that. I called the first dealership. I told them what was wrong, and my truck was going in limp mode or whatever. I said, but I can make it to that dealership. They said, well, if you make it, well, where'd you buy it from? I told them. They was like, well, if you make it here, we got a wait list, and you may not be able to be seen till next month. I said, next month? She said, just to even be seen. Called another dealership. Where'd you buy it from? Oh, I bought it from somewhere else. Well, you're going to have to wait. They at least said 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks, we'll be able to look at it. So you just have to drop it off, and not even sure we can get you a rental car because there's a shortage on rental cars and this and that or whatever. Now, here's the one name that I will mention. I called Beatty Chevrolet. Spoke to a guy named David. It was David's first or second day at work. And David said, I said, I'm having problems with it, whatever. And I kind of already said, I said, I didn't buy it from there. I said, but I'm having problems with it. He said, bring it on down. I'll get you a rental car. And I said, well, he was so nice. I felt like I could say more. I said, David, I'm supposed to be in Elk Ridge, Maryland. I'm supposed to be in there yesterday. He said, well, we'll do the best we can. We're going to get you a rental car or whatever and try to get it looked at. We'll get a guy to look at it. Now, I didn't even buy this from there. I didn't buy it from there. And not to mention, not only did I not buy it from there, I've been there once or twice looking at cars, but they never had the one I want. So, if anybody could have been bitter about me not buying it from them, it could have been them. But David looked past all that. He's like, hey, bring it down, and we'll get it taken care of, and we'll try to put you in a rental truck. He went as far as saying a rental truck so I can tow the trailer, right? Well, I brought it down there, dropped off the truck, went to Enterprise Rental Car, ended up getting a car instead of a truck, and I ended up taking my my Gladiator to Elk Ridge, Maryland, and had to fill up a couple times, 3 times on a one-way 500-mile trip. So it took 6 tanks of gas in that Gladiator towing that. So way more money than I expected. Got the stuff done in Elk Ridge, and literally I had to come back and get on the road to go down to Daytona Beach. I had to come back. It would have been shorter just to go straight from Elk Ridge to Daytona Beach, but I had to come back. There was something that I had to do. So I came all the way back to Knoxville, and as I'm coming back to Knoxville, I'm making phone calls trying to find out about this truck. I called Beatty Chevrolet. They said it's a knock sensor in cylinder bank. Knock sensor number 3. So I called the other dealership. I'm like, look, guys, the dealership I bought it from, I said, I just bought the truck. I want the truck. It's a nice truck. But listen, it's been less than this time 2.5 days. Let's just unwind the deal. That means basically they just take the truck back. And then I said, I'll buy another truck from you when one comes in. I'm not trying not to buy a truck. I want a truck. This is inconvenient for me, but I can't do this with a broken truck. I got a truck sitting down there on a lot that I will be making payments on, and now I'm driving my truck, my Gladiator, and it's costing me so much money in gas, and I definitely don't want to take this thing the 700-mile trip down to Daytona. So, you know what they said? We can't do it. You need to call GM and tell them if they can get that part in, to get it in. There's a back order on the part. You need to call GM. Yeah, they said I need to call GM. I need to do this. I need to do that. They was telling me everything that I needed to do. They never returned phone calls. I called them back, and they kept telling me everything that I need to do. You know what I did? I hit that same blue button, called OnStar. OnStar connected me with GM service, and this is when the story turns for the better. And then it turns for the worse again, so stay tuned. But the story turns for the better. I called, and GM service got a hold of somebody. So I called with a chip on my shoulder. I said, hey, I got this truck, and this happened, and that happened, and I got to be down in Daytona, and I had to spend all this money on gas for this Gladiator, and I got a brand new truck sitting down there. I said, that doesn't make sense. You know what the lady said? No, that don't make sense. She said, no, they can do something better than that. I'm like, what? Kind of like a dog looking at something confused, right? I'm like, wait a minute. I was about to argue. And she's like, she taking a better tone than me? She's like, She said, no, that don't make sense. It don't make any kind of sense. She said, no, they can do something. I'm going to call right now that dealership to see what they can do. I'm like, really? That's what she said, right? And at this point, she's saying that. I was called ready to rant and rave, and she took on the same attitude that I had, and for some reason that just calmed me down, because I felt like she was really sincere and she was fighting for me. So she calls them and tell them to call me. Then she calls me back. Her name was Jasmine. She said, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. She said, I know you're supposed to be down in Daytona. I said, yeah. I said, I'll be honest with you. I got to go down there for a YouTube event. She said, you're a YouTuber? I said, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. She said, did you tell them that? I said, no, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to go around and say, well, I'm a YouTuber. I'm going to do. That's not me. I'm not going to do that, right? So she's like, no, you should have told them that. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to tell them that. I said, they should just do that, just because it's the right thing to do. Well, so she was like, listen, what we're going to do is, I told them to give you a call. She said, they can unwind the deal as long as you haven't had your welcome call yet, right? I didn't know that, so I'm telling you guys that. As long as you haven't had your welcome call yet, they can unwind the deal. At least that's what she told me, right? So when they called me, man, it was a whole nother level of confidence. I was like, listen, you can either, get somebody to get this part in and get it fixed real fast, or you can unwind this deal, because they told me as long as I don't have my welcome call, then they can unwind it. And you know what they said to me? Well, we just need to get GM to buy it back from you. Do you know how long it takes from a motor company to buy something back from you? I said, no. Well, they told me that you guys need to fix it or unwind the deal or whatever you're going to do. And they was like, okay, we'll call you back. They didn't call me back. What they did was they called Beatty Chevrolet and asked them what was wrong with the truck, and they said it was a knock sensor number 3 that was messing with the DEF system. So when he called, oh, by the way, when he called me, when he asked me what was wrong with it, I told him it was knock sensor number 3. He said, that truck don't even have 3 knock sensors. They don't know what they're talking about. Then later on, and he's like, well, yeah, it actually does. It has 3 knock sensors. They were right. It had it. So he didn't even know what he's talking about. They said that they're going to have to call all of these people to see if they can get a knock sensor, even if they take it off the assembly line. So they called the local GM manager here, the local parts manager, and he was everywhere trying to find this knock sensor for this truck. So he found a knock sensor, and at this time, what was it, like Tuesday? No, it was Wednesday. He said, we found a knock sensor. He said, we're not 100%, what, this is David talking now from Beatty Chevrolet. He said, we're not 100% sure that it's going to fix it. So we're going to have to, but we think that's what it is, but I don't want to get your hopes up. So we're going to put that knock sensor in there. And as we get the knock sensor put in there, if that works, I'm going to have my tech drive it. Man, he cared. He really cared. He said, I'm going to have my tech drive it because we don't want to get you stuck on the side of the road. We want to make sure this is right for you. That's a dealership. That's what you're supposed to do. That's quality. He said, but it's unfortunate. It won't be ready till 2 o'clock the next day. I said, listen, David, I said, I really like to get on the road early as I can. He said, well, unfortunately, I can't just give it to you that way. You're gonna have to wait. Well, he said, I'll give it to you as fast as I can. So he said, I'll call you as soon as it's done. So I'm waiting. Got that truck on ready, got everything packed. I'm like, okay, if he says no, then I'm gonna go ahead with the gas guzzler. If he says yes, that's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm waiting around. I get a phone call at 10:30. Now he said it's supposed to be around 2. David says, Tall, come on down. Your truck is ready. Man, I was so excited. So I came down there, I took the rental car back, got my truck, came home, and hooked it up to the trailer. Now another thing that I didn't tell you, anytime we get a new car, I always take it on my mom and dad's house to show them or whatever. Well, I didn't even tell them I bought a new truck. So I kept this from them for about 5-6 days or whatever. And because I didn't want to say I bought a new truck, but it's in the shop. Because you just sound like an idiot. Just tell the truth, right? So I was like, oh, I'm going to show it to them before I leave and go out of town. So I got the truck and the trailer hooked up. And I go over there and show my mom and dad the new truck. So it got to be about 4 o'clock. I was like, listen, I got to get down. At that point, I was staying in Titusville, Florida. I got to get down to Titusville, Florida. It's a long way to go, and I have to check in. My hotel was already paid for. I'm going to get back more to the truck story. Because, guys, I told you it's a long story, but it's definitely worth it, right? So my hotel was already paid for, so I'm getting on the road, filled up with diesel, head out to start going towards Titusville, Florida. It said that I got 10 hours and 30 minutes to get to my location. On my way there, I got sleepy. Yeah, because it's nighttime and I don't do well at driving at nighttime. I got sleepy. My wife is telling me, because I'm by myself, I'm on the phone with my wife. She said, you know what, why don't you just get a hotel? Now, I already paid for that night hotel down there in Titusville. I did not want to have, because I supposed to show up a whole lot earlier. I paid for a full week. I didn't want to pay for another hotel when I got a hotel room down there. So I was trying to push and drive, but I could not drive any further. So I pulled over at a rest area and laid down. This is information for you guys. I called the hotel. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to make it. I'll probably be in there about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm going to pull over and take a nap. They said, okay, I appreciate you calling because we were about to cancel the reservation. That even though I had a reservation, if I didn't show up at 12 o'clock that night, it would have canceled the reservation. And do you know how hard it is to find a place to stay during bike week? Even though you have the room paid for, if you don't show up, they can cancel your reservation. So that's something for you to know. I slept till about 6 a.m. Still had 4.5 hours of driving. I drove. I slept in the truck, slept in my clothes, and I'm driving, right? I'm like, okay, I gotta be at the meet and greet at 1 o'clock. I get to the hotel, like, okay, here's the plan, because I'm not even thinking rational. I'm so sleepy, right? I said, I'm gonna get the bike. I'm gonna go ahead and get the bike off the trailer and be ready to take, which was an hour drive down to the meet and greet, be ready to take the motorcycle to the meet and greet So I just go inside, take an hour nap, take a shower, put my clothes on, hop on the bike, and take a ride down the road. It'll be tight, but I gotta do it. I can't, I'm too sleepy just to, you know, I have to do this. So I said, let me go ahead and get the bike off the thing. Get ready to start the motorcycle after I backed it off the trailer. Battery dead. Motorcycle won't start. Because when I left Zippers, I didn't put it in tow haul mode. And yes, I'm the same one on YouTube with that video about how to put it in transport mode. I didn't put it in the tow haul mode till like later on down the road when I remembered, but it was too late. So when I got down to the hotel in Titusville, motorcycle dead. But it wasn't real dead, but it just wouldn't start. So what I had to do is, luckily, with the feature of my new Chevrolet truck, in the back it had an outlet, a 110 outlet, and luckily I brought my trickle charger in the trailer. So what I did was started the truck, plugged in the 110 outlet, put the bike on trickle charge, and I got a Harley sitting out here on trickle charge and a brand new truck running. So I'm not gonna go inside and take a nap. So what did I do? Got my folding chair out, went in there to get some breakfast from the hotel, and sat there in the chair, tired as I don't know what, trying to eat breakfast and wait for the motorcycle to be able to start. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, it was crazy. An hour later, no nap, no sleep, but in the truck, and probably about 3 hours. Dog tired, bags under my eyes. An hour later, I said, oh, please let this motorcycle start. Try to start the motorcycle started. Realized I didn't have my helmet. Not that you need a helmet in Florida, but you should wear a helmet. The helmet was in the hotel room. Motorcycle, can't turn it off to go in there and get my helmet. Said, you know what, I'm not going to go in there and get my helmet. I'm just going to try to ride this around a little bit, and hopefully it will charge the battery back up. As I get on the motorcycle, lift the motorcycle up. It gets even worse. As I get on this motorcycle, you remember, I can't turn it off because it ain't going to charge the battery. So when I get on this motorcycle, the gas light turns on. Says I had 21 miles to empty. I told you it's a crazy story. So now I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I gotta ride this motorcycle to the gas station and turn this motorcycle off at the gas station in hopes that it will had enough charge to turn back on. So as I'm out riding with no helmet up and down the road, trying to get this motorcycle to charge, looking at it dropping down 17 miles, 16 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles. Now I'm like circling close to the gas station. I'm like, okay, hopefully that's enough. Hopefully that's enough charge. I get to the gas station, fill it up with gas, and man, I was praying, please Lord, let this motorcycle start. The motorcycle started. It started. So I rode it for about 35 minutes or so, came to the hotel thinking hopefully that's enough to keep it charged, went inside, took a shower, hopped on a motorcycle, and flew down the highway down to Daytona Beach for a meet and greet. Now when you're going to a meet and greet, you know, you have to be alert and awake. They're not coming to see me all groggy and tired and everything else, you know what I mean? So man, how did I get in more traffic again? So at that meet and greet, with probably a couple hours worth of sleep in my truck and all the stressful drama that I went through with the truck, and then the motorcycle battery going dead and having to charge that up, when I got to the meet and greet, it turned out to be an awesome meet and greet. I met a bunch of viewers and subscribers, and I don't think they knew all the stuff that I had to go through just to get there, right? I made a video of it. I don't know, you might could tell that I'm a little sleepy. So fast forward, had a great time, get back to Knoxville. The tags now are 20-day tags, they're not 30-day tags. So when I get back to Knoxville, a couple more days, my tags are expired. I called them, said, hey, you guys, did you send my tags? Oh yeah, we sent the money to the county courthouse for the, you know, the taxes to the county courthouse. You can go down there and sign and pick up your tags. So I go down there to the courthouse to pick up my tags. The courthouse tells me that, oh, we had to send the money back because they didn't send enough money, so they need to send us another check. I called them to tell them that after sitting at the DMV for an hour and a half. Yeah, they tell me, oh, yeah, they told us that we're going to have to send them another check. It's like, why didn't you tell me? Why did you have me sitting down there that long for that reason? Okay, you could have told me that. I mean, they called me and said, okay, so the money is at the courthouse again. 4 days later, tags expired. Run around with a brand new truck, tags expired. 4 days later, go down there to the place. The lady starts looking at all this paperwork. She said, I'm sorry, sir, something's not right. I said, what's not right? She said, it's the wrong amount. She said, they figured the taxes out wrong. I said, you got to be kidding me. She said, no, sir, I'm not. I'm sorry. Real nice lady, too, at the courthouse. I called them on the phone because this is my second time, right? I called them on the phone while I'm sitting there. They said, well, we didn't do it. The tag lady did it, and she's not here. The next day, I called to talk to the tag lady, and she said, well, they could have just took the money and sent it back because we overpaid them the first time, and then you would have had your tag. So it's not our fault, it's your courthouse's fault. She didn't say, I'm sorry, I apologize, or anything. I said, I know this. It's 6 days now, and I don't have a tag on my truck. And I've been down to this place twice. And they said that she will send me a tag out, and it's going to be overnighted. You expect that to be the end of the story, right? No. 2 days go by, 3 days go by. I said, I called down there, why don't I have my tag? He said, I'll go find out. He goes back there to the clerk's office in the place, whatever you call it. The money, the check for the tag, and the temporary tag is still sitting on her desk. 2 days later, still no tag. I call down there again. And for some reason, he gets another salesperson involved. The guy says, hey, I remember you when you came down here. Now I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. 100, YouTube 100, straight 100, like I'm talking to family. The other guy was another black guy, such as myself, and he had nothing to do with the deal, but for some reason now they put him on the phone. He's like, hey man, said, why are you, I don't understand, why are you calling me about it? He says, nah, how you doing? I'm just trying to make things better. I said, okay man, all right, you know, all right. So it was like a weird conversation. I guess he was going to be the translator for me or something to make things easier. 2 days later, that's when I finally got the tag, and now I have the tag and my truck fixed, and everything that I went through, even though I went through all that craziness, and it was a crazy experience. I mean, a wild experience. You can tell if I'm taking this long to tell this story. A wild experience. You might ask me, what do I think about that truck? I'll tell you this. Whoa, this is tight right here. That is the best truck that I have ever owned. And the reason why, that 3.0 Duramax diesel, if you saw my Instagram post, I got, on the way back from Nashville, I got 32.5 miles to the gallon on the highway. On the highway. And that's with my 26-inch wheels. 26-inch wheels, 32.5 miles per gallon on the highway. And don't say because the radius changed and it's reading wrong. No, the 26-inch wheels and the wheel and tire combo that I had on there are they're so close in diameter. That's very close in diameter. But anyway, I love it. I love the towing capacity of it. I love the look of it. I love the comfort of it. I love the sound of the diesel. I love everything about that truck. And my experience buying it from that dealership in Alabama, right outside of I ain't gonna say, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I want to. But that dealership that I bought it from was a horrible experience. But far as General Motors, even though, I know you're gonna say, well, the truck broke down on you. Yes, it did. Even though I had an issue with the truck, Jasmine from GM Complaint Service, I don't know what you call it, and Beatty Chevrolet was a 5-star. I mean, they were 5-star all the way. Let's just say they handled everything correctly. Okay? But that other dealership, I would not come down there and ever buy a truck from you, ever. It was a horrible experience. Horrible experience. So guys, that is my Chevrolet truck story. I know that it was a long story. I don't even know if this GoPro battery is still running, but it was a long story. But hopefully it was somewhat entertaining to you. Hopefully you got some entertainment out of my frustration. But right now, I think, like I said, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's an awesome truck. And if you haven't seen it with those 22s that 26s that I put on it, yeah, check it out. And I did some other stuff to it too that I think looks really good. I'll be showing you soon, right? And I bought that truck for a reason, and I'll be showing you that soon as well. All right guys, so I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you enjoyed this very long video and you watched it to the end. If you watched it to the end, thank you so much. But you know guys, I want to thank everybody for listening to me talk about this. But overall, yes, I would definitely buy another one. Overall, yes, I would recommend it to a friend. I just wouldn't recommend that particular dealership at all, and they need to learn something about customer service. But guys, oh, I gotta get out the way. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more like it, please subscribe. I want to thank you for watching. Check out my Instagram at Real Traveling Talk, and I told you something new is coming real soon. Thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep gliding, and as always, have a blessed day.